If your database becomes corrupt, there's two ways to restore it. One is to go into the Wins Manager, go to the Mappings menu, and then select Restore the Database. The other is by simply going into Services, stopping the services, and restarting the services. If when it restarts, if it detects there's an error in the database, it will restore it for you. But let's just look at this. This database that's currently up and running is fine. So when I go to the Mappings menu, the Restore Local Database option is grayed out, which means I can't restore it. What it comes down to is there's not a problem in the database. Therefore, it's not going to need to restore it. Let's go on and corrupt this database so that this option will come up. I'm going to go to where my database files are. I'm going to go through Explorer. On my root drive, I go to my WinNT folder, then System32, and then Wins. Here are the important Wins files, the wins.mdb, winstemp.mdb, the J50 log file. There's also a J50 check file. Now, my Wins server is up and running, so if I try to delete this, it's not going to let me. So I need to go to Services and shut this down. We go to Start, Settings, Control Panel, double-click on Services. I'm going to highlight the Wins server, Windows Internet Name Service. Click Stop. Yes, I'm sure I want to stop. Now, it's very simply stopped. If I wanted to try to restore a corrupted database from here, what I could very simply do is come here and click on the Start button. And if it detects there's a problem in the database, it should allow you to restore it. However, sometimes it's not able to find everything, and you're going to actually have to go into the Wins Manager. Sometimes it'll fix it, sometimes it won't. Let's go on and stop it again. Now that it's stopped, let's go into our Explorer. You notice the winstemp.mdb is gone now because it's just open while the Wins server is running. Let's highlight this and delete it. Okay, it's gone. Let's go back to our services. Let's try to start it. It's going to give us an error message here. And it's basically telling us how to update it. When we click OK, it'll give you another error message because it's not able to even find the wins.mdb. So even though all of Microsoft's books tell you that you can replace a corrupted database with this, you can't always do it. Now, for testing purposes, if you're taking your MCSE tests, yes, this is one of the ways, and sometimes it'll work. In this case, it doesn't work. Let's click OK here. The place we have to go here to restore our Wins database is through our Wins Manager. Let's go there. We click on Mappings, and now the Restore Local Database option is allowed to be a choice. Let's click on it. It asks us, well, where do we want to restore it from? We say, okay, I saved it in the Wins backup. Let's double click on that. Don't go into all these levels, because if you go into all these levels, it's not going to work. You want to go to the root of what you set up, and it will find what it needs in there. So click OK. Look right down here. It says Restore in Progress. Let's give it just a moment. The restore is complete. Now what I'll need to do is I'll need to start my service back up. This is highlighted. Let's click Start. Now our Win service is back and running. Just keep in mind, it's not a matter of if files become corrupt. Files will eventually become corrupt. If the file that becomes corrupt is your Wins database and you have not backed it up, you're going to have a problem restoring it. So you want to make sure you back it up to keep your service healthy.